Constitutional issue overrides all. After Nilantha, Deshabandhu too goes home. Who will be the acting police chief? Silver Jubilee for Sajith and Jalani. Sajith's trio debuts. SJB-led alliance with Sinhala Muslim, Tamil leaders on 08org. Is Patali tamed by Sajith? Will support Ranil with Mo U, says Lanza. New alliance to go it alone. SLPP wind blows Ranil's way, backed by 12 district leaders, 75 MPs, SLPP infighting now out in the open. Namal objects to Kanchana. Prasanna warns of division if majority opinion is not allowed. Namal talks separately to Ranil, Prasanna. Ranil knows campaign begins. Separate candidate from North. Lucky turns to Aragalaya leaders. Secret talks on a civil society candidate get leaked.
The leader, දේශයට මග කියන ප්‍රවෘත්ති පෙළගැස්ම.
Constitutional issue overrides all. On Wednesday, the Supreme Court issued an interim order restraining Deshabandhu Tenakun from functioning as the police chief, granting leave to proceed with 9 fundamental rights petitions against his appointment. The court instructed the president to appoint a suitable person to the position in acting capacity until the conclusion of the hearing. So, after Nilantha Jayawardena, Deshabandhu too had to go home. With a national election nearing, certain government bigwigs are shaken by this court order. President Ranil Wickremesinghe has reportedly called Public Security Minister Tiran Alice and asked him not to become worried. As he has been saying recently, the President is of the firm view that the judiciary has no powers to interfere in the affairs of Parliament. Is it that a constitutional crisis is going to override all other issues? Also, who will be the acting police chief? Silver Jubilee for Sajith and Jalani. Sajith's trio debuts. With the presidential polls near at hand, certain candidates do not seem to have a personal life anymore. On Tuesday, Sajith and Jalani Premadasa marked the silver jubilee of their marriage. They first met in 1997 at a sermon at Sucharitha to mark the death anniversary of Sajith's father. Around 18 months later, they got married at Hotel Hilton. Friends suggested a lavish celebration, but Sajith wanted an almsgiving at Dalada Maligawa, but he could not make it. This year it was Jalani's turn of the Katina Puja at Dalada Maligawa too. Mahiyangana Nayakathera made the arrangements, so Jalani and other family members performed the religious activities as planned. Sajith was confined to Parliament for the entire day. He took time off to oversee the plans for Samagi Jana Sandanaya at his office at the parliamentary complex. He entrusted the task to his most reliable trio, Madhuma Bandara, Lakshman Finseka, and SM Marakar. They are required to do canvassing for SLPP MPs, bring them to Sajith, and find money for the election campaign too. Madhuma Bandara says the SJB-led alliance will be launched on August 8th. Making the announcement to the media yesterday, he said their policy manifesto to solve all issues will be introduced as well. Sajith will contest the presidential polls under the telephone symbol, and his campaign will be joined by corrupt-free, experienced Sinhala, Tamil, Muslim and Burgher leaders, he said.
අනිවාර්යෙන් මේ ජනාධිපතිවරණේ සජිත් ප්‍රේමදාස මැතිතුමා ඉදිරිපත් ඉන්නේ සමගි ජන බලවේගයේ දුරකථනයේ ලකුණේ. උතුරු ප්‍රදේශයේ ද්‍රවිඩ ජනතාව පහුගිය උතුරු නැගෙනහිර දෙකේම පහුගිය ජනාධිපතිවරණේ තවති බහුතරයක් ඡන්දය දුන්නේ සජිත් ප්‍රේමදාස අපේ නායකතුමාට. ඉතින් මේවරත් මම හිතන්නේ උතුරු නැගෙනහිර ප්‍රදේශවල ද්‍රවිඩ පක්ෂත් ද්‍රවිඩ ජනතාවත් එතුමාට වැඩි ඇල්මක් දක්වනවා. එතුමාට ඡන්දය දෙන්න දැන් ඉදිරිපත් වෙලා ඉන්නවා.
Political sources say Patali Ranawaka's United Republic Front will also be a partner to this alliance. A top man of that party admitted having discussed things with Sajith, but said that the SJB leader was yet to respond positively to the URF's proposals on debt repayment and tackling the economic crisis. So, no agreement has been reached so far for an alliance in support of Sajith, he said. Reportedly, Patali is getting calls from leaders of other affiliates in that alliance. Claiming unawareness of what is happening, they are urging him to join and bring them on the right track. In the meantime, the New Alliance and the SLFP are busy with forming a grouping along with the UPFA. Nimal Lanza says the talks have already concluded and that they will support Ranil once a MOU is signed with him. He adds that they will contest the general election separately as the New Alliance. Although alliances are mushrooming in this manner, all of them will have to align with the mainstream candidates in the end. History gives us lessons on that account. SLPP wind blows Ranil's way, backed by 12 district leaders, 75 MPs. 12 district leaders of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna met at the Malala Sekara Mawata residence of a state minister on Monday afternoon. One started the proceedings with a warning that the country will be back in the period of queues if they go on the journey with someone other than Ranil. Another said some in their party don't understand it and plan a journey of their own. We have majority support in the party and in Parliament, said the state minister, adding that they should wait and see for some more time. At least 75 MPs are supporting us, and more will join. Local government members too are with us. We had a head start in Gampaha. Let's carry on with that morale, he went on. They decided to continue things as they are, and to take a decision if someone other than Ranil is fielded. The SLPP crisis came out yesterday when Mahinda and Basil met their MPs to discuss elections. It was a heated one, with one faction wanting Ranil made president again, while the other demanding a candidate of their own fielded. After the meeting, Kanchana Wijasekara said the party may have different opinions, but the best choice is Ranil.
මත ගණනාවක් තියෙනවා. නමුත් පක්ෂයේ මතය වෙන්නේ සුදුසුම පුද්ගලයා තෝරා ගැනීම. නිසා සුදුසුකම් මතින් බැලුවොත් එම අද ඉදිරිපත් වෙන අපේක්ෂක අතරින් මම විශ්වාස කරනවා රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ මැතිතුමා ඒ සියලු දෙනාට වැඩිය සුදුසුකම් තියෙන පුද්ගලෙක් කියන එක.
Namal Rajapaksa retorted, saying not all think like that. We will answer at the right time, he said.
දැන් මේ කාංචන විජේසේකර එමෙතුමා නම් කිව්වේ වැඩි කියන්නේ බහුතර කැමැත්ත වගේ තියෙන්නේ ජනාධිපතිතුමාට සහාය දෙන්න කියලා. එතකොට ඔබතුමාගේ මතෙත් ඒකද?
මත කීපයක් තියෙනවා. ඉතින් පක්ෂයක් වුණාම එහෙමනේ. ඉතින් එතුමන්ලා හිතන් ඉන්නවා එතන බහුතර මතේ තියෙනවා කියලා. තව කට්ටියක් හිතන් ඉන්නවා එතුමා නොවෙන්න ඕනේ කියලා. එයා හිතන් ඉන්නවා ඒ අයට බහුතර මතේ තියෙනවා කියලා. ඉතින් අපි සාකච්ඡා කරලා විසඳුමක් දෙන්න.
Prasanna Ranatunga too joined in, saying his firm stand that the party should support Ranil has not changed. As Tissa Kutiarachchi was facing journalists, Prasanna came and stood behind him. Surprised by that, he brought his tone down. When journalists inquired from him if the party got divided, Prasanna said not yet, but it will happen if it goes against the majority opinion. He also said that the entire country knows his stand, which is the correct one, but was unaware where exactly Kutiarachchi stood. He said emotionally that they didn't behave like the Aragalaya activists did when they tried to kill him and set fire to his home on May 9th. The president restored peace, and we should be grateful to him for that, he said. It was State Minister Prasanna Ranawira who was the first to side with Ranil. His colleague Indika Anuruddha was unlike him. Neither made an appearance at Ranil's rally in Kadawatha on Sunday. That was brought up by some SLPP MPs at the Parliament lobby yesterday. One said Ranawira didn't attend over a business deal. Another noted both Ranawira and Anuruddha are uncertain of getting elected again. An MP from Colombo said they were prepared for elections any time because they worked for the people. Those who didn't are in trouble, he said. If the president wins, there will be no general election this year. Then they can continue for another year. If someone else wins, they will have to go home, a state minister said to big laughter. This one too is about the SLPP. Ranil and Namal met for talks on Monday. Both agreed not to go public with it. Separately, Namal met Prasanna to discuss many things. On Tuesday, some friends met him and inquired if Ranil will be their candidate. Namal said the SLPP was formed as opposed to the UNP. We supported Ranil in the past 2 years, but a majority is against supporting him any further. Ranil works against President Mahinda's policies. While claiming to obtain support from SJB MPs, he breaks our people from the party. So, we have no further journey with Ranil, he said. So, is Damika Pereira going to be the candidate? Yes. Win or lose, we want to safeguard our vote base, he said. When asked what would happen at the general election, he said the SLPP will contest separately adding that the party can obtain at least 50 seats, so that tells the extent of divisions in the SLPP. Anyway, it is clear that Ranil has divided the Rajapaksa camp as well as their party. Now there is a campaign under the slogan, Ranil Knows. Most likely the SLPP will have to choose between supporting Ranil or getting divided. Separate candidate from North. Lucky turns to Aragalaya leaders. Now there's a Tamil candidate from the North. No more hopes for the two who eyed the northern votes, say persons like Darshana Thanthiraj. While an agreement was signed in Jaffna to field a Tamil-speaking common candidate, 10 civil society organisations were at talks to field a common candidate. Political sources say a trio of civil society activists are behind this move. All of them have ruled out having anything to do with the Rajapaksas. Neither can they support Ranil, after he cracked down on civil society activists. They discussed matters even as the SJB has agreed to give nominations to some of them. They decided to introduce a common action plan acceptable to the country by the first week of August. They also discussed arranging a party led by a President's Council to contest. A presidential candidate hopeful from a well-known religious organisation in Colombo too was at the talks. He wanted to be their candidate. After understanding that he has no place with them, that one made a silent retreat. Now he is discussing things with Dilith Jayawira. Another renowned doctor has suggested joining forces with the SJB. That too was not met well. They talked about matters from 10 in the morning until 6 in the evening and dispersed after making plans for the next 1 month. They intended to keep it a secret, but things got leaked, with even a picture of the meeting getting published in newspapers. It is rumoured that Sajith's top advisor, Lakshman Fonseca, met with several Aragalaya members at Hotel Janaki for talks on forming a similar organisation. Also present were some university dons loyal to the SJB. CBK, Patali, Fonseca, Rajitha and Vijayadasa are now non-committal. The North is going to have their own candidate. Rajapaksas plan a separate journey. Ranil is yet to make his intentions clear, but none has so far declared plans for the country. They show crowds only. Opinion surveys suggest no candidate will secure votes in excess of 30%. So, civil society activists discussed preparing a plan for the country. There lies the core of the problem. Whenever an election nears, campaign plans are made well in advance, but nothing is said about building the country. At the last moment they come up with some document or other with a big-sounding name. The aim is to lure voters by selling that document. People should think seriously about that. That's it for today.
The Leader, දේශයට මග කියන ප්‍රවෘත්ති පෙළගැස්ම.